I have a touchy subject. There's a stigma with blue collar workers when it comes to struggles with addiction or someone's going through a mental health crisis. In Local 725, what kind of resources do you guys have available for your members? Like what kind of support would be available to them?
So, great question. We've noticed a drastic surge in both mental health and addictions. It's a tough trade. People beat the crap out of their bodies doing what we do. We love it, but we do take a beating. We noticed right after COVID, things seem to escalate quite substantially. So through our health and welfare plan, we do have live-in treatment for addictions for up to 2 months. We're currently looking at extending that. So if a person needs to do live-in treatment, 2 months live-in, and maybe some follow-ups and stuff after that.
In the event someone doesn't understand what live-in treatment is, can you give a little more explanation on what that is?
So I can tell a story, and I know he wouldn't mind me telling the story. One of my best friends growing up in the trade called me one time on a Sunday. He was down and out, he was high, he was drunk, and said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Went and picked him up at the school field he was sitting in, put him on a plane out to Vancouver. Is currently the group that we use. They're called Together We Can. Great community group. We've had great success there. So put him on a plane, had him out there. He was there for 2 months, comes back completely clean and sober, changed his life. That's what live-in means. You have to take the time away to get yourself out of any of the situations where you're in chance of use again or relapsing or something like that, and actually live in a facility with other people that are going through similar problems. And this gentleman came back after 2 months and started his own company, had a successful rebar company. And had I not gone and talked to him that day and put him on the plane, I'm not so sure he would have been around. So those are the types of resources that we have available to our members. There's other things where if you're, not everybody's in a situation where they could pick up and leave their family for 2 months, and I understand that. There are other things that are provided through our health and welfare plan where there's counselors available, weekly things where you can pop in and out to daily treatment, or we really got to just look at some of those resources and figure out what's going to work best for each person.
You being the business manager, head of the table, if one of your members told their employer or reached out to one of you guys here at this hall and said, I am struggling, like I'm fucked up, I need help, there's no shame, there's no ridicule, there's no nothing. It is truly like what we call a brotherhood in that sense, where we want to look after you, we want to see you healthy, happy, and you want to see them succeed.
100%. Everything that is, when I have those conversations, it's all in confidence. The main thing is getting the person the help that they need. First of all, on the phone with them, just explain to them the resources that are available. And again, if live-in's not going to work for them because they have a family to provide for, just find the right avenue that's going to work best for them and their family, and do follow-ups. That's the big thing, is follow-ups with people to, hey, how you doing? How are things rolling with that? Just being there for them as a member. You're 100% right. It's a brotherhood, and we need to be there for each other. I've taken those calls and made those choices for them. Yeah.
It sounds pretty concrete that you guys here at this local will do what you can within your power to be supportive and give them a helping hand in whatever direction they need to go. And it's probably safe to assume that the contractors would do the exact same, I'm hoping.
Absolutely, yeah. Our partnership with our contractors is 100% focused on the safety and welfare of our members. The live-in treatment is actually something that's covered by our health and welfare plan. So once you'd get that, I would assume, a medical layoff from your contractor to go and seek this treatment, you would be also able to apply for EI. So you'd get that EI, and you'd essentially be making EI throughout the course of your program. Like I say, it's 2 months in, and then hopefully things have worked. If not, you can extend your stay with your EI and pay it to the treatment facility. But yeah, absolutely.
And then while we're still on the topic of like people struggling with addiction or mental health, I really want to hammer this out, that not every single person has those vices or has those demons in their closet. There are a lot of people in the trades, and it doesn't matter what trade you're in. You could be an electrician, carpenter, whatever it is, an iron worker. There are lots of people who are sober. There are lots of people who come to work clear-headed and okay. I think one thing that people in the trades, or just even as men, especially men, it is very easy for us to just, yeah, I'm all right, man, I'm good. Because our vocabulary literally consists of 6 words. Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm all right. I don't think that people need to worry about that, especially with the way things have been. Like myself, I lost mentors. I lost my best friend and my second best friend literally a year apart from fentanyl overdoses. And I think a lot of us in some capacity know that feeling. It might be a different story, or in some way. But I think a lot of us, if you just came up to any one of us, doesn't matter what local you're from, doesn't matter the province, if you're fucking first day on the job or you're 25 plus year veteran, sometimes if you just say, hey man, I need to talk, I think that goes a long way. And I do believe that anyone, if they're willing to just come forward and talk, that anyone on the job site would truly listen. And I think even here at this local, if someone came forward to you guys, that it would be the same thing. It's like, hey man, I'm not feeling a particular way. Like, I'm not going to do something crazy, but I just need someone to listen to me. I don't need someone to, not that I'm trying to turn you guys into like a counseling or psychology building by any means, but sometimes it's just, I just need someone to listen to me, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing that we have tried to address is breaking down that stigma around mental health and coming forward if you do have an addictions problem. I think, us as big, tough tradespeople and ironworkers, I don't have a problem. You know what I mean? So we got to break that down and just let people know that it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to reach out to people like myself. I lean on the gentleman of the story I told you earlier where we sent him, one of my best friends from the trade. I lean on him quite often because I'm not an addiction specialist. I don't know everything there is to know about mental health. So, this guy has been through the process, was at a point in his life where he understood that he needed help. And he told me at any time I could lean on him. So I've actually got a direct line to him. From anybody who reaches out to me, I'll have a conversation with them, explain the story about how this person sought recovery and actually found it and is living very happily. I think he's over 3,000 days sober now, and to see if they're comfortable speaking to him. And I'll actually end up passing his information on to them and let them have a conversation about it. Because again, live-in treatment's not going to work for everybody, but this gentleman knows where he can seek out some meetings, go every Tuesday to your meeting or something along those lines. He attends the meetings himself, so he can even bring that person in. And again, like you said, a mentor, right? So he could mentor that young person. And it's just nice having someone who's been through the process and understands what that person I'm on the phone with is going through, because I don't necessarily know what that's like. So
as a business manager and as an iron worker at heart, to the guys that work union and to the guys that are working non-union, whether it's CLAC or whatever it is, if they're struggling with mental health, if they're struggling with addiction, or if they're in a really dark place in their life, what is something you would say to them or wish that they were aware of?
Just the fact that it's okay to come forward and recognize that there is a problem. I think the biggest problem is that stigma of, looking weak or looking useless because you're having these problems. And I shouldn't be having these problems. Nobody else I know has these problems. Mental health is a real thing, and so is addictions. And I think just recognizing that that is a problem and having the courage to come forward and speak to somebody is the first step to recovery. So I think that would be my message, is just have the courage, have the respect for yourself and your family before things get too bad or too late, and God forbid something happens to you, to take that step forward once you've recognized that you have a problem. The one thing that I've noticed in our industry is people can't be forced into treatment. That's just my personal opinion. I've seen more success around the folks that understand that they have a problem or there is an issue and they want to fix it. There's members that come to me and say, I have this friend who's struggling with addiction and I want to send them to treatment. I've yet to see that work. What I've seen personally, it doesn't work. People need to understand there's a problem. They need to want to actively pursue that help. And that's when I've seen really good things happen for people.
No, I agree with you 100%. In this room right now, between the three of us, if I was struggling with, like, let's say I full on relapse, you both could come forward and be like, hey man, we want to support you, we want to help you, we'll pay for treatment, we'll pay for this, we'll literally put you on we'll drive your ass there right now. There's nothing anyone can say to you as an addict or someone who is struggling with their own mental health that will matter at all. At the end of the day, it has to be something that you truly want.
Yep.
You have to want that change.
Yep.
Right?
And I've tried to have those tough conversations with members and tell them, like, this is what I think is needed. That's not really my spot. It comes down to that person needs to want it for themselves. They need to want to get healthy and want to get sober and want to, keep their family around or whatever their situation may be. I think that's the one thing I've taken away from my experiences in the hall, working with people that have come forward.
I think the best thing really any brother or sister can do in a union, if they know someone is struggling, is just let them know, like, hey, I love you, I care about you. If you ever need anything, just talk to me, call me. Sometimes just sitting there and I guess reiterating that, like, you're not doing okay and whatnot, like, they know they're struggling, they know they're not in the best place, but sometimes just being an ear for them to just talk and for them to feel heard is really just the starting point. Because as we talk about it, we start to acknowledge it ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Our international, so the Ironworkers International, has actually started a relationship with a group called the Working Mind. It's a great program. I took it myself. I took it with some contractors and some of our leadership members. It's around how to be able to notice some of those mental health struggles that people are going through, the way they conduct themselves or their attitude or ways like that, and how to kind of approach them on it. You know, I always thought, you know, people talk about, well, that happened to me once, or I went through this. People that are going through those things don't want to hear that, right? They just want to hear like, hey man, I've noticed, you know, that you're a little off today. Is everything all right? They want to talk, just like you just said. They don't want to hear your story about how you went through mental health problems or how you had addictions problems too, and this is how I did it. They just want to be heard. They want a chance to tell their story and what kinds of things they're struggling with. So hats off to my international for actually creating this partnership. It's one of the best programs I've taken, and I utilize it every time that I talk to anybody who comes forward with these types of problems.
Going off your comment you just said, I think as men, and I'm just going to use men in general, if you came to me and you said like, hey man, I'm struggling with alcohol, it's not us trying to take away from that. I think what we're trying to do is show that we can relate to it. And what we're actually doing by that, being like, yeah man, I was an alcoholic for 15 years and then I got sober and this is what I did. Essentially what we're doing is we're dismissing everything. So if you come to me and you say, I'm fucking struggling, and I go, yeah man, I was an alcoholic, this, and this is how I got. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I just took away
The shutter's
from
closed.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
you're gonna close that door because
Exactly.
now I'm dismissing you. I'm not acknowledging you. I'm not validating anything you're saying.
That's right.
And I think people, regardless if you work blue collar, whatever it is, need to understand that if someone comes forward, you need to listen to understand, not listen to respond in that moment.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that'll go so much further than a lot of people realize. I've said this like many times on social media. As we talk, we start to realize we have the answers. And sometimes just having someone just sit and listen, that's really all you need. You already kind of have the answers. You don't need someone coming up to you and being like, okay, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Have you tried this? I don't need you to problem solve. I don't need you to be the solution and fix everything that's going on in my life. I just need you to be my friend. I just need you to listen. And damn, man, yeah, I did know the answer. If I need you to answer them, I'll ask for your opinion. Or something people can do is, do you need me to listen or do you need me to respond to these conversations? Sometimes just laying that out in the front is the best thing you can do.
Yeah. In my experience, I've noticed that at least 70% of the time having these conversations and just listening, because I've learned that through the Working Mind training, the answers that they're looking for come right off their own tongue, just like you just said. And they actually start to realize it right there. They're like, well, after this conversation, I guess I understand what I need to do now. Right? And I've said, well, I'm glad that you've came to that conclusion. And I'm glad you kind of worked it out. And throughout this conversation, you know, if there's anything I can do to help you pursue that, let me know. Because there are resources available through the hall, like I had mentioned, through our health plan and the live-in treatment that's available to our members. And it's a relief that they can talk their way into their own solutions. And that's what I learned is it's better to just listen, just be that ear. You don't need to tell them what you think they should be doing, or, well, this is what this person did, or this is what I did. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, they'll figure it out on their own just talking it out.